Welcome to the Stephen King Sematary Club.
Quote, I haven't slept well since I found my Uncle Otto dead, and there have been times when I have really wondered if I have gone insane or if I will. Page 427. This one is another vehicle turns evil, and I think that Stephen King does this often, and I'm not really scared by possessed cars, but there is an element of creepiness to this because this truck is vicious. Uncle Otto, so the narrator's uncle, was born in 1905 and the narrator was born in 1955. Back in the day, Otto partnered up with a guy named McCutcheon, and they purchased a huge tract of land from a paper company in Castle Rock. So it is the New England Paper Company, and they bought 4,000 acres at $10,000. So a lot of money back then, you know, during the Depression, that was a ton of money, but that's also a lot of land. So it was a good investment. Now these partners would ride around together in this old truck, and it was McCutcheon's truck. And one day, George, he just decided to build a house on a piece of property where his truck died. So the truck died one day as they're driving along, and George's like, this is where I'm going to build my house. He builds his house, and he props up the truck on blocks, and the truck is like a monument in this big yard. Eventually, it ended up crushing George to death. And so the father of the narrator took his son to sit in the cab of this truck when he was quite little because, quote, my father just thought I might like to sit in the cab of that old truck. He had seen the way I looked at it every time we passed, mistaking my dread for admiration, I suppose. Page 432. And this kid, whose name is Quentin, was so terrified. Just the thought of being in the truck that had killed someone. He had heard the older men talking about it, you know, about how this man got squished like a pumpkin or a squash, I don't remember which. And, you know, that's terrifying to think of as a child. And now you're in the truck, you're sitting in it, and he said he could smell blood, like the scent of blood was in the air. So he just was horrified by being in this truck. In 1965, Otto builds a schoolhouse, like we talked about, across from the field where the truck is. And the school doesn't want the city doesn't want the schoolhouse. They already have a public schoolhouse. They don't need a one-room schoolhouse. And so Otto moves in to like save face. So as years go by, Quentin is taking care of Otto on occasion. He'll run and get him groceries, that kind of thing. And he's convinced that Otto killed his old partner, George. And he's not positive, but the way that Otto is disturbed by the truck and he is constantly watching the truck across the street, he feels like maybe Otto's guilty conscience is causing him to obsess over the truck. So Otto is convinced that the truck is slowly moving closer, which, you know, he stares at it all the time. If you watch it, you can see it creeping just ever so slightly, but you have to watch a long time for that to happen. Quote, his concern with the Cresswell had become a mania. He now claimed it was on his side of the road, right in his yard, as a matter of fact, page 440. And this is in 1981. And Quentin, one day when he's driving to deliver groceries, sees the truck in Otto's yard. And he kind of does a double take. He's like, what? You know? And he goes inside, he finds Otto dead. And there are 3 quarts of oil in Otto's system. He also had a huge vintage spark plug jammed into his throat. When Quentin passes by the bedroom window where Uncle Otto's body is, he sees the truck outside the window. He sees it. And Quentin kept the spark plug as a morbid reminder of what happened, and just to like, almost like a touchstone to know that this really did occur. He didn't imagine it. Otto didn't imagine it. The truck has a taste for blood or revenge or something. So it's a cute story. It's I like the framing of it, where a guy is telling us that, you know, he wouldn't believe it if he didn't have this tangible piece of evidence, and it's just, I don't know, it's a fun little story.
Have a spooky day.